So I'm gonna make a quick video talking about uh, charging and kind of like understanding your energetic like battery bank, or starting to see how your energy is depleted throughout the day, and using that knowledge to actually change what you put your energy towards in order to be able to um, basically hold on to more energy throughout the day and not be so drained and tired at the end of the day. Um, a lot of people think that this has to do with the activities that you're doing, but it's not about the activities that you're doing. It's about the energetic, like, cost of each thing that you decide to do. So things that you wouldn't think cost a lot of energy are actually very, very pricey when it comes down to energy, if you want to think about it like that. What I mean by that is, like, most things that you do in order to give you pleasure, or you do to give you what you feel is a heightened sense of something, is something that drains a lot of energy as well. So something that produces a lot of energy is something that also drains the energy a lot as well. So, and they all have their own kind of like their own little like nuances of ways that you can exploit them to take the most from them and to kind of like use the least amount of energy. So the first biggest thing is, well, actually we'll start all the way at the bottom with the food that you eat. Number one is, most people, most of the food that they eat is legitimately draining their energy, and it's not giving them more energy. Really, the foods that give you energy are live foods, like live fruits and vegetables, raw foods like nuts, seeds, and other raw foods, and then like basically like raw portobello mushrooms and things like that as well, but just things that are not cooked, because once you start cooking the food, then you start depleting it of all the nutrients and live enzymes that it has, and that ends up depleting your energy as well after you take on the food, because when you eat the food, your body has to actually work harder in order to be able to digest it, and therefore does not gain as much of the nutrients. Plus, the live enzymes are much more like kind of easily absorbed into your body, so they'll be digested a lot easier as well. But that's number one. So that's your satisfying your root chakra, and through food, right? Number two is sex, and these are just going up the chakras, as I always do. But two is sex. Sex is a huge energy drainer, but it also can be an energy enhancer as well, depending on the intention and the kind of energy going behind it. So most of the time when people are having sex with themselves or masturbating, that is an energy drainer. So unless they are doing it with intention and they know exactly what they're doing with their energy, it's probably going to drain your energy. When it comes down to having sex with another person, most people are also draining their energy that way, because they're not doing it from the heart-based center. They're doing it out of their lower centers, which is meant to try to suck energy from the other person, whilst also at the same time trying not to give them any energy. And that's also a very kind of like detrimental way of going about a sexual energy exchange, when you could both have the intention of bringing your consciousness to a higher level, or to bring yourself into a state of consciousness where you can attain a higher level through the sex. And with that intention behind it, you can actually both accelerate your growth to an exponential level. But if anybody has any kind of like doubts about it, or if they have a desire to be possessed, a desire of possession, if they have any kind of like any doubts about trusting or fear of anything like that, then all of that will kind of like play into the degradation of energy, not the enhancement of it. The enhancement comes with pure love, or understanding and trust of the other person, and coming with only the want to try to help the other person with no kind of like need for anything in return. The third would be things that you do for power, and using your willpower. And basically these are things like the people that you hang around, the things that you do in order to make money, or to bring yourself a status of success or happiness, in that way. Not happiness, but success, or what a lot of people presume as being happiness, but it's actually success. And then so to look at that is to look into your job and look into what it is that you do, and then see if you are going throughout the day and at the end of the day you feel more drained than you did at the beginning of the day, then that generally means that you are not using your energy in an efficient way. Because at the end of the day, you should feel just as much energy, or even like it's a different type of energy though. It's like, it feels as though it's like you're still mentally stimulated and you're still there. Like when I say energy drain, most of the time what I mean is when people are so tired when they get home that they don't have the energy mentally to do anything, and they don't have the energy physically to really express themselves in any kind of way. But if you can save this energy and you can use it correctly and move it throughout your body and learn how it kind of collates in different places, and then kind of like unblock that and move it around, then you can actually hold on to and take a lot of energy that you weren't able to tap into before. And even if you were able to tap into it, you weren't able to hold on to it, but now you can, from using this kind of like understanding of energy. The next would be heart-based energy, and this is where you start to get to energy that actually brings you sustenance and brings you it brings you more energy. So when you tap into this energy, this is the universal love energy. So it's basically what permeates everything, that gives it that sense of like motivation and drive, but it's also through the form of love, not through the form of will. So it's motivation given to you through the pure need to love another in the same way that you love yourself. And the reason why that happens is because once you have everything, meaning like everything that you want, meaning like happiness and fulfillment and satisfaction, which doesn't come from money, and it doesn't come from any other activities other than finding oneself. But once you have that, then you can actually start to give that to other people without any kind of expectation of return. And that's when you start to sit in your heart energy. And basically once you get up to here, then the way that the energy plays with you is completely different at that point, because then you start to see how your energy is interplaying with everything around you, and you start to be able to choose where you pull your energy from, and kind of like you tap into much cleaner sources of energy. Next is the throat, and the throat is it's expression, right? So it's like the way that you can start to gain more energy through that. And actually when you express yourself, you actually feel more energy afterwards. So when you're truly in your heart and in your throat, you actually feel energized, and you feel really like excited afterwards, and you feel like you've just done something for yourself, and you feel like you've done something that like changed the way that you feel. And that's because that expression is a symbol of love, and that love brings you energy. Since love and light are connected, light is energy and love is like the energy of life, right? So like light and love are connected. So the more that you can cultivate love in yourself, the more that you will glow with light. And that light can be used to attract other positive things. So that's one way that kind of like law of attraction works. But the next is a third eye. And the way that you can keep yourself from being drained on that is, for one, believing that you're worthy to have abilities to be able to do things like clairvoyance and claircognizance. But there's also another kind of layer to it, where you have to balance your sight with your heart. If you are seeing but you don't have your heart, then it will drain your energy indefinitely. So you'll have to have your physical energy will be drained as you use your third eye, because the only way that, like, it's either you use your heart as a springboard into the throat and then the third eye, or you just go from the solar plexus straight to the third eye. And if you go from the solar plexus into the third eye, then the only time that you're able to use that is the amount of will that you have to use it. So basically, once you run out of your yellow ray energy, then you are left to kind of like fend for yourself in a way, because you have to produce more energy in order to be able to kind of like use it. But when you're sitting in the heart, you don't have to produce that energy, because you're tapping into the etheric energy all around you. So instead of you kind of like producing that will to do it, it's more of like you're kind of just letting it be done through you. And that's like the difference between sitting in the heart. And once you, like, the big difference is there that you're not drained after you let something be done through you. You're actually energized. But if you do something through the solar plexus, then a lot of times you will feel drained afterwards, because you've been using your will energy in order to be able to do something. So the crown is basically the connecting factor. So it doesn't change, and neither does the root really. It doesn't change in its vibrational frequency, and into like, or it's basically like the kind of like the node that shows all of the information in your vibration. So it's like it's kind of like the DNA of your vibration in a way, and it's the thing that connects you with the rest of the cosmos. So the way that you kind of like can start to pull energy from that is to notice the stream of energy that's coming through the top of your head, and really notice the way that it feels. And consciously, you can see like this vortex right here, and you're going to want to open that up and widen it, and basically just try to widen that vortex as much as you can, so that as much energy flow can come through you as possible. And once you start to do all these things, and I'm going to go way further into this, but once you start doing all these things, and you start noticing all of the energetic kind of like stuff around you, and you start to really see the things that bring you energy and see the things that are draining your energy, and you start to consciously change the things that you're doing in order to be able to drain less energy and gain more energy, then you'll notice at the end of the day, you feel happier, you feel more uplifted, you feel ready to go. Literally, it's like you'll go to bed with energy, and you'll wake up in the next morning feeling alive and awake and alert. You know, you won't feel as though you've literally just worked 12 hours the day before. You'll feel as though you've gained something, like you've literally like this new, you've tapped into this new level of energy that is there all around you, but yet it's not visible. So like once you tap into it, then you know that it's there, because you feel ready to go and you feel energetic and ready. But like until then, you literally like, you won't be able to understand the level of difference that there is between these two states of consciousness. It's like your old state of consciousness going to work every day feeling drained, versus the new state of consciousness where you're literally in your power, in the power, and you feel more and more alive and more energetic every single day. This was just a really quick one. I'm gonna do a couple more in a second about energy control and just like understanding this energy a little bit deeper, because each one of these kind of like, they all have their own nuances. If you start to see the draining / gaining energies, and you truly change the way that you're looking at this stuff, to see that the name of the game here is love, and it's also to balance yourself to where you can, instead of like changing your external reality to be pretty to you, it's changing your internal reality so that everything that you see is pretty to you. You see? So then you never you're never dependent on external things, because you always feel good inside and internally. You see? So like the name of the game is not to change your external reality and become successful so you can have all of the things, because that won't bring you any kind of happiness. The name of the game is to find this happiness internally, and to develop it yourself. You see, to like tap into the happiness that you thought that you would have had through doing that other thing, and then feel it now. And then that other thing will naturally manifest into your life, and then you'll be able to feel true joy, and you'll be able to use that thing for the true purpose that it was there for, instead of abusing it or becoming attached to it. You see, like you're trying to stay as not attached to anything around you as possible, while still being a part of it. You see, like, so you still have a part of you that's in it, but you don't identify with it, so you don't send it your energy all the time, because anything that you identify with, you're sending it energy all the time. Anything that you feel like you need to hold on to, you are sending it energy all the time. Anything that you're worried about losing, you're sending it energy all the time. All these things are things that are draining your energy, like very tiny little, it's almost like you have these little tubes coming off everywhere, and all of your chakras, and then these are all kind of like things that you've kind of like hooked up to you throughout your entire life, and these are all kind of stealing your energy throughout different areas and stuff. So it's becoming aware of that, and then cutting the connections that you don't want to be taking your energy, and then reforming the ones that you do in a way where you give it the least amount of energy and you take the most amount of energy from it. You see? And it's not like you're trying to steal from it. It's like you're trying to leave the negative energy and then take the positive energy, you see? So it's like you just have to become aware of the way that this energy works and how it flows through everything, and so that you can actually be able to kind of pull from the correct sources, like the earth. As you see, barefoot, way to go. It's one of the easiest ways to pull energy from the earth, and it's very clean and it feels very good afterwards. Also, sun gazing and then pulling energy from upwards is also a very good thing. But there's so many different ways that you can start to tap into this like understanding and knowledge too, where you can start to get these downloads yourself, and then you'll start to have a full understanding yourself of an experiential understanding about how this energy works and how it's so important and why it's so powerful, and how it like literally will change your entire life, because it feels so good to be able to feel energetic again. Like it feels like I have the energy that I had as a kid, but yet now I'm like 25 years old, you see? So it's like, it's pretty cool. And like me at 25 now has more energy than I did at 24 and 23 because of the practices that I've been doing. And it's not because I've been exercising a tremendous amount or putting so much effort. It's just because I've learned how to manage my energy, and now I can choose where my energy goes, and therefore choose where I take my energy from too. And that makes it to where I don't drain it everywhere and feel like I'm just like basically dead at the end of the day. This was a really short one though, so thank you very much, and I hope you have a good day.